Fortnite pros are known for not going outside much, but what happens when a retired pro decides to start traveling the world of visiting the most dangerous places? Well, you get Arab, and his story from Fortnite to being kidnapped is inspiring and terrifying all at the same time. Arab created his YouTube channel all the way back in October of 2015, where at first he would create some short skits on popular topics that were going on at the time. But this wouldn't last for long, with him eventually taking a break from YouTube. Now, even though the uploads there stopped, he continued making content shortly after, having his first Twitch stream on September 27th of 2017, playing League of Legends. A few months later, in March of 2018, he would start streaming the biggest game everyone was talking about, and that was obviously Fortnite. Quickly, he got addicted and started playing the game almost every single day. But the thing that really made him stand out from the rest was 1, his personality and edgy jokes, and 2, his skill for the game. It became obvious he was much better than the average player, dropping high kill games in every game mode. Over the next couple months, he continued grinding the game, YouTube, and streams, even killing some of the best players in the game at the time like Symphony and Vivid. Even though he was clearly talented at the game and had an entertaining personality, he wouldn't see too much success, getting a few hundred views on YouTube, with some videos getting a few thousand and averaging around 10 viewers on Twitch. However, soon, everything was about to change, with online tournaments being announced within the game. This finally meant he had the chance to prove he was a good player, and this could help him reach a wider audience. Yet this wouldn't really happen until the Fortnite World Cup began. Throughout the qualifier weeks, he placed very consistently, making money in almost every single week, and even got very close multiple times in duos to qualifying for the finals in New York. Because of these performances, he would see a big boost in viewership, averaging around 100 viewers, while also having some YouTube videos get tens of thousands and sometimes over 100,000 views. And the cherry on top of all this was just a few weeks later when he would get hosted by Tfue for over 30,000 viewers, once again giving him another massive boost in viewership. Arab continued what he was doing for the next couple months, but it wasn't until he started a brand new series on his YouTube that he would really become known in the competitive Fortnite scene, that being Inside the Mind of an IGL. Throughout Arab's time competing, he was never super mechanical. In fact, he was probably worse than most. However, he was always extremely smart, coming up with ways to outplay his opponents, which led to him creating this series. After the first video performed extremely well compared to his others, Arab started pumping out these videos on this series. And it was working. For the first time ever, he was seeing consistent views. The success from this would also start transferring into his other tournament videos where he was just playing. Everything was finally starting to fall in place. Every video was getting really good views, and he was placing very well in a bunch of tournaments, even qualifying for the solo FNCS Invitational Grand Finals. It was also around now where he'd posted a video titled I Coached an Aimbotter in FNCS. This video would go on to do extremely well, gaining over 1.6 million views, and fun fact, it's actually his most viewed Fortnite video on his channel. Also, keep these coaching style of videos in mind because not long down the road, he would start blowing up from them. Now, all this would mainly help his YouTube and partially on his Twitch, but it was actually when he got into an argument with Clicks on stream where he would see massive growth, going from around 100 viewers to now 500. One day while he was playing pro scrims, him and Clicks got into a bit of an altercation, and Clicks went to go into his chat to smack talk him. And well, Arab would end up making a really funny joke that Clicks liked, and from there, they would end up becoming pretty good friends. This wouldn't be all too surprising since Arab has an extremely laid back and funny personality, leaning more on that dark humor. He was also a content creator at heart, always knowing how to keep the audience engaged, and throughout the years, this would never change. But for now, he was just getting started. A few months after beginning his Inside the Mind series, he would post a video coaching a pro player on OCE named Looter. This would really be what would change his career forever. After this, he would start coaching pretty much everybody. For example, players like Mr. Fresh Asian, Savid, Young Calculator, and even Clicks. All these videos would do super well, with some of them getting hundreds of thousands of views, and eventually he would hit 100,000 followers on both Twitch and YouTube. By the way, we're trying to do the same here, and only 6% of you watching are actually subs, so go double check. I just said how these videos were performing extremely well, but soon they were about to do even better when he would coach one of the best fighters the world has ever seen, Reed. And he would do this at the best time because back then, nobody really knew who he was, and Reed's style of fighting had really never been seen before, which obviously made for the perfect video. This one specifically surpassing over 1.5 million views throughout the years. This was also all streamed live on his Twitch, where he was still grinding every single day, which would again boost his viewership to the point where he was averaging over 1,000 viewers for the first time in his life. Keep in mind, this was all happening at the peak of the pandemic, where many other creators were quickly rising to fame. So Arab really made sure to take advantage of this. I also haven't mentioned this yet, but for pretty much the entirety of his career, he was going to school full time. And this was extremely hard because his parents never really supported him, constantly asking when he was going to quit and look for a real job or focus more on school. But Arab knew he could make it, using all of his spare time to solely focus on content creation in order to make his dream a reality. This style of content would go on for the next year, with him uploading tournaments, coaching, arena, and a few IRL videos here and there. We were now in the summer of 2021, and Arab had achieved over 200,000 subscribers on YouTube and was closing in on 500,000 on Twitch, all while still mainly playing Fortnite. But when you went to look at his YouTube, you see he wasn't uploading that much Fortnite compared to before. And then seemingly out of nowhere, he would upload a video titled "My Last Fortnite Video Ever." In it, he would explain how gaming to him was starting to become extremely stale, since that's what everybody had been doing since the start of the pandemic. On top of this, he wasn't seeing as much growth as before, but the main point of it all was that he was officially going to be switching his content to focus entirely on IRL videos. He would make a second channel called Arab Live, where he would post a couple Fortnite videos, but after only 2 months, he would end up being completely done with the game on YouTube, and from then on would only post vlogs. This was a massive switch. Most creators are too scared to do it, and for good reason, but Arab, being as persistent as he is, pushed through. And if you want to be a content creator for a long time, you need to take these risks in your journey. But nobody could have prepared him for what was about to come. For the first month, he got pretty decent views considering, like I said, this was a massive change. But unfortunately, over the next year, things would only really decline. Arab would post daily vlogs on YouTube, but these videos would only end up getting a few thousand views, which was barely anything compared to before. Now, even though it might not have done as well as he hoped, over on Twitch, things were still going well. He was traveling the world doing IRL streams, averaging a few hundred viewers. Again, this was less than before, but still not bad at all. But in the last half of 2020, he was about to lock in. For the last few months, the vlogs he had been making were very low quality, just recording from his phone, doing whatever he wanted, and thumbnail wise, it would usually just be a screenshot from the video. But eventually, he would start putting in much more effort. Instead of doing daily vlogs, he would actually plan out what he was doing, making sure the videos were edited well, and creating high quality thumbnails for them. This was exactly what he needed. Arab was seeing much more views than he was before. It was also cool to see him go back to his roots in somewhat of a full circle moment when he would go to some of those DreamHack LAN events for Fortnite and make some content with some pros there that he used to coach. And not long after this, he would have his first big video in well over a year, that being inside Turkey's $1 billion illegal replica industry, which would end up gaining almost 1 million views. But little did he know, this was just a taste of what would shoot him into stardom down the road. Arab continued posting more structured videos while also streaming for the next 2 months until December 11th, 2020, when he would make a change which would later result in him almost losing his life numerous times. On this day, he would upload a video titled "I'm Lost." During it, he would explain how he wanted to show his personality more, and even though he had been doing it a lot already on streams, he just simply wasn't able to do everything he wanted to on Twitch. So with that being said, he would make the decision to stop streaming as much and instead put all of his attention and effort into YouTube. So far, his journey has been crazy, and whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny he has one of the craziest work ethics. From streaming for 200 plus hours a month while going to school full time, finally making a name for himself, then doing a complete 180 on his content to the point where his views were worse than when he started, Arab never gave up. And soon, all of this hard work was about to pay off big time. Arab had already been traveling the world at this point, but instead of doing more touristy stuff, he wanted to dig deeper and really become somewhat of a journalist. At first, he visited Qatar, and this video would perform much better than he would expect. Then he'd visit Africa's most dangerous hood, which again would do extremely well, this time getting over 400,000 views. It was like a light bulb went off in his head. Obviously, people were enjoying these kind of videos, and nobody in the YouTube space was really making content like this. Also, Arab himself loved the thrill of visiting these places, and with his charming personality would actually befriend some of the most dangerous people in the world in order to get these videos out. From here, he would visit some of the most dangerous places in Kenya, Nigeria, Brazil, and more. Now, some of these videos were actually a lot more laid back like his old vlog videos, and wouldn't focus on the dangers of these areas, but instead their beauty. And even these ones would get hundreds of thousands of views. But it was the ones where he would put his life on the line where he would really put his name out there. For example, his most viewed video, which is standing at over 11 million views, is spending a day with Rio Brazil's most dangerous gang, where he would do just that, interviewing them about some of the horrifying things they do in their day-to-day lives. And it wasn't just his long-form videos that did good. He really made sure to take advantage of shorts, and as you can see, he's gained tens of millions of views on a bunch of different videos. But Arab's no fool. He knows he's risking his life every time. But he also knows that his charisma can definitely bail him out of some situations where other people would probably end up dead, which has happened many times before. He would even post a short video called "If I Never Upload Again, I'm Sorry." During this video, he stated that he had to go offline for a few days because he's going to spend those days living with the cartel. And if something bad happens to him, to not be sad because he loved making these kind of videos. And well, that series, which could have easily ended his life, would end up being one of his most successful ones, getting almost 9 million views across 4 videos. Again, for the next few months, Arab would continue posting similar videos, along the way pranking Speed by pretending to rob him in Brazil. But now this brings us up to the scariest thing that has ever happened to him, and the reason you clicked on this video. When Arab would get kidnapped for 2 weeks straight by a gang in Haiti. This all started when Arab would travel there in order to make a video interviewing one of Haiti's most notorious gang leaders, nicknamed Barbecue, who was a former police officer before becoming a warlord. And ironically enough, Arab would actually foreshadow his kidnapping when he was talking to Lord Miles, who is also known for traveling to dangerous places in the world. Now, other than this, not much would be said about his upcoming video he had planned, except for one more thing. Before actually going to interview this gang leader, he was actually staying at a hotel in Haiti, where he would film a short little segment for his video to send to his editor, and in it we got a few more details. Essentially, he said that he had to wait until after dark to travel to Port-au-Prince, since at night it's completely run by gangs, and even though he has safe passage through, it just wasn't worth the risk. Also, just to put in perspective how dangerous the country is at the moment, he was the only person staying in that massive hotel since tourists are not allowed into the country right now. This would end up being the last piece of content we would see from Arab for over 2 weeks. Now, it's not unusual for him to go offline for a few days, and even not post on social media for longer. Even then though, 2 weeks was a very long time, and when other creators would try to get into contact with him, there was still no response. This was all happening on the inside, so to all of his viewers, they never even knew where he was traveling to next. But it was on March 28th when everything would come to light. His brother Laylam, who is actually a Fortnite creator himself, would tweet this, saying that he tried to keep it private for 2 weeks, however, everything started to come out. So he decided it was time to confirm all the rumors of Arab being kidnapped. From the information that was shared so far, we know at some point while he was traveling to Port-au-Prince, he was intercepted by another gang leader named Lamu Sanjao, who was actually on the FBI Most Wanted list with a reward of over $1 million for allegedly taking part in another kidnapping that involved 17 people for over 60 days. After being taken, he was driven for over 1 hour into the middle of the desert, then put into a cell where later they would contact his family and set a ransom to get him home for $600,000. Over the next 2 weeks, Arab would actually somewhat befriend them while being captured, as you can see in this video. But you can also tell that he is scared. Typically in these situations, Arab looks calm and composed, but here you can definitely tell he's on edge, and rightfully so. Over those weeks, his family and friends tried desperately to get him home and come up with that money. But it was actually when it would get brought to social media where everything would change. You see, before this, his ransom was actually paid for, but they never released him. After this, Arab knew he had to put international pressure on the situation, and that's why this news all started coming out on March 28th. Arab was actually with another popular journalist from Haiti, and together they were able to reach out to other journalists in order to get this information out there, and his kidnappers were not happy about this. Already being on the FBI Most Wanted list, having millions of eyes on you isn't ideal. But the straw that would break the camel's back is when Barbecue, the other gang leader Arab was supposed to interview, would end up calling his kidnappers and told them if they don't release him, they're gonna go to war. So after all of this, on March 30th, it would be announced Arab was finally set free and safe. Unfortunately for him though, this wouldn't be his last day in the country. When he was peacefully leaving, he would end up getting detained for a few more days after someone tried to extort him for money. But eventually, after 22 days of being in Haiti, Arab would finally come home on April 4th, where he would see his family once again. Now, after all of this happened, there's many people who think this entire situation was faked, mainly because of how calm he seemed in most of those videos taken with his kidnappers. But I personally don't think it is. I've seen his videos in the past and he always acts like this even in the scariest situations. But I guess that'll just be up for debate. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe so we can hit 100K by the end of this year. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your days. Peace out.